Doing what it's supposed to. That's good. Everything's doing, yeah. There we go.
Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah. Yes, having your mom here right before
Yeah.
the show. On this one, just
Yeah.
hi.
Hello. Oh my God, my hair looks like Elvis today.
Oh.
Hey everybody, this is Lee and Paul from coupledom.com doing
Or
relationship
something.
rehab
That's
here
right.
on Mingle Media TV. Wow, what a week. Today's topic is balance, which I find hilarious.
Yeah.
After the week we've had,
It's-
month, year, whatever.
Oh yeah. On that tight wire, we've been like this.
Yeah, seriously. Like, balance? Ew. But you know, it's funny because that's all we strive to do, is to seek balance.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it has been a hell of a week here in the coupledom world. Paul's parents came in last Friday.
Always a
And just left yesterday.
Yes, a little
late
pokey
afternoon.
to the balance.
Especially to me. You know, it's I actually coined a new term, and if you're going to use it, you better
That's
give
right.
me credit for it. I call it, what did I call it? Verbal Aikido. You know, this is this constant barrage of crap she kept flinging at me, and I would just take it and kind of just like, you know,
Questioning.
questioning. You
You're
know,
like
questioning,
Matrix.
or yeah, it was kind of like actually, it was more like the Avatar.
Yes, true.
was
Yeah,
more
more
like
Avatar. Yeah.
And I
You
wasn't just
control your
dodging. I was,
elements,
you know, I was
right. You
controlling the
control your
elements and zinging it back to her. It was exhausting. I mean, they would leave at night because they didn't stay with us. Thank God they don't stay with us, because then I don't think I'd be sitting here. I'd probably be in jail. But you know, they would leave at night, and the two of us would just be like, "What happened?" You know, like this whirlwind of crap happened, and it was very hard. Our Paul's mom is very passive aggressive,
Yes.
and sometimes she lets go of being passive aggressive just to be aggressive, and not that she would. And the kids are home from school.
Oh yeah.
Yay! Get to work.
I'll be right back.
Okay,
Let them
yeah.
know why my parents were here.
Yeah, the
'cause
parents
that's
were
kind of
here.
important too.
Yeah, the grandparents were here because our daughter was graduating from high school, and she graduated on Wednesday. And this is the proof that she actually graduated. And not only that, she ended up getting a diploma of distinction from the superintendent and all that good stuff. Our daughter, as you probably know if you've ever watched the show before, is blind. She's deaf. She is a spectrum disorder. You know, she has Asperger's and things like that. So this was quite an event that, you know, Jeannie was able to do so well in school, and we never expected that. So this was pretty amazing. So they came down for that. Came last Friday, and we were with them every single day until then. Yeah, till Wednesday, and now she's done. And yesterday it was, you know, they were still here, and you know, this is like post graduation, and our daughter wanted to go out and play and be with her friends, and so, like the good mother that I am, I told her first thing in the morning, you know what, make your plans, go do your thing. You know, you'll say goodbye to your grandparents one way or another, but go do your thing.
Right, make it all happen.
Make it all happen.
Yes. That's balance.
You can have it all, you know,
Uh-huh.
and that's, you know, one of the things that that we try to teach our kids is that, you know, it's like, yes, it's important to you know, be there for your family and to be respectful and all that good stuff, but not at your own peril.
Right.
You know?
Which is interesting because your mom was just here.
Right.
So, and like this year, she walked out right before the
yeah.
show started.
So
know.
you already see the we got going. That was my mom. That was the
because she's at a situation now where she takes care of her mom, and we are looking at nursing facilities, and right now she's somewhat, if we will, out of balance. Going back to what you were just about to say,
to take care of herself.
Right.
So, before we jump into the conversation, you have anything else going on?
Next week.
Yeah, next week we're actually gonna take the week off because of balance. Yeah. We need to get our bearings again.
And also we'll be dealing with Jeannie stuff.
Yeah, Paul and Jeannie are heading off to Colorado on Monday because she's going to be going to Colorado State University, and there's a bunch of things that he needs to take care of with her, and
giving her money.
Yeah, things like that. But I mean, I don't know. Back in our day, because I didn't have any disabilities whatsoever, and neither did he. We handled our stuff. My parents weren't involved in any of that. Not even filling out forms. Yeah. Our daughter. Yeah, our daughter is special. And the idea of sending her out to Colorado to do this, she can't see, she can't. It's kind of hard. Yeah. So.
And also, she's our first.
So we're a little bit coddly.
Well, there's the coddly. There's also that, since we don't really know, we know the process that we went through 1,002 years ago.
We just graduated a couple years ago.
But actually, I think knowing what Jeannie is going through.
Okay, wait a second. We graduated 3 decades ago.
Yeah. Okay. See, so we know how we did it. But it's like now that. I'm not comfortable enough to make a phone call and just say, okay, she can handle it, because I really don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Things have changed, I have to admit. Some things are very much the same.
Things have changed a lot. Changed. Yeah. I mean, even just the ability to look online to see how your application stuff is going. We didn't have that kind of stuff when we were young. I mean, basically, you were in the dark until you got a letter.
Yeah, once that stamp was on that application.
Yeah, and now it's, these kids, she already has her email address from the university. In the next week or so, she'll probably have her dorm room.
Right.
And stuff, so it's...
And then, she could be contacting her roommate in advance and get to know them before they actually meet. And it's like... Really?
That's weird. It's not like the old days. So there's a lot of stuff, and and our daughter doesn't like to be treated differently. She doesn't want to be known as the blind girl. She doesn't want to stick out because of her specialness. She wants to fit in because she's fun. So, and I applaud that. That's
frozen. You shouldn't be.
Let's see.
I'm just checking to see whether we're all frozen and stuff, or whether we're moving. I have no idea what's going on.
So we'll just keep going until...
Yeah, we keep going. We're recording.
So, so that's,
Yeah.
That's what's going on in our lives. So we're a little bit topsy-turvy. And let's just throw on top of the mix that we're actually moving in about 5 weeks.
Yeah, that's right. That's...
we got a whole house full of stuff, and and just in pictures alone is probably going to be about 15 boxes. So
yeah, and the pictures are my key. That's when I start packing pictures is when I'm actually packing for real.
Yeah, so we're fine.
Yeah.
So so balance. That's why we're taking a week off. So what about balance? What's the big deal? See, one of the things that we find. And it's not just we as in the global we, find that people who are out of balance tend to have a lot of physical symptoms.
Yes.
Okay? If you suffer from high blood pressure, if you have gastric issues, if you have headaches, if you have problems sleeping, all of these physical issues usually indicate some sort of lack of balance. And we're looking at, medicine has changed a lot over the years, where being Westerners, we think of everything very clinically.
Mm-hmm.
And now, medicine is seeing that the Eastern philosophies really know what they're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
because all the Eastern philosophies stress is creating a balance in your life. And
definitely a more global, systemic,
right. Mind, body, spirit kind of thing.
Right.
We've talked about here last week, we were talking about anxiety and stress, and we know, and this is like factual, cardiologists will tell you that most people who suffer heart attacks have had some sort of loss within a month of their heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
Your body is thrown into, is basically thrown out of balance, and your heart responds by breaking. That is a very fluffy way of talking about myocardial infarction, but that is what's going on in an emotional sense in your life. And then the physical stuff, kind of follows suit. So the idea is to maintain some sort of, is it muddy?
Yeah.
Okay, of course. In the middle of our thing.
It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get back to that.
We'll get back to that.
Don't worry.
So,
people don't need to watch us read texts.
I'm sorry, I have to say yes because she actually, if I don't, she'll show.
Oh, really? Sorry. How's that? Brilliant, right there. All
See,
right.
we have to take care of business.
Yes.
And that's part of,
Yes. Where is multitasking on this list?
Well, that is, if you are a person that has a lot going on, you have to take care of business. If not, you get out of balance. So let the physical symptoms be your warning sign. One of the things that we know, I can speak for myself primarily. When I'm out of balance, I will stop sleeping.
Yeah.
It's almost as if my body does one of those, you've got so much going on, you really shouldn't sleep right now. Mm-hmm. You just need to take care of stuff.
Whereas I'm the other way. When I'm out of balance, I sleep too much. I can't seem to wake up. I'm exhausted all the time.
And that goes back to a conversation we've had on the show long ago about sperm and egg consciousness.
Mm-hmm. Right.
In sperm and egg consciousness, you either maintain the consciousness of the sperm that created you or the egg that created you. Mm-hmm. And, of course, in sperm consciousness, everything is go, 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 run, run, run. Got to get to the goal. Can't stop now. If I stop, I die. And the egg consciousness is I have to wait. I'm waiting for something to happen.
Right. Have to be ready.
Have to be ready. It's almost like it's a constant state of preparedness,
Yes.
And that's if you take it as a stressful thing. Mm-hmm. That's like an egg under stress, as we like to say, for Paul. Other eggs tend to be more defeatist. Mm-hmm. In the sense that,
I'll be sloughed off soon.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the idea.
Yeah. So I'm just going to wait to die.
Yeah.
And then, like in the sperm's case, where if they're not as stressed, they're just, I'm just going to perk myself in this wall and right. Basically,
try to move but not
move.
Right.
But show a lot of sparky and a lot of, energy. So, even our stress is shown in that kind of consciousness, and our lack of balance is shown like that. Everything for me, because I have sperm consciousness, is really the, gotta do. And it's funny because since I've had so much therapy, I don't have to be so crazy about it. Because in the past, I would get pissed when people would slow down, and now I'm okay with letting people be. After spending a week with his mom, I realized how I could have been. And that's scary. That is really just one of those, oh wow, thank you, powers that be, that, got enough help that I'm not
Yeah.
like that.
You actually have a lot of examples of sperms gone wrong.
Sperms
in
gone
your
wrong.
life.
That's really, I mean, my mom, my mother-in-law, my dad, all of them. I'm surrounded by them.
Yeah. Like carrying around tranquilizer darts
Yes.
is a good idea in our life.
Yeah. It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, it's really bad. Anyway, so physical symptoms.
Yes.
You know, and then these are all things about anxiety. I mean, once again, we're talking about anxiety. We talked about it last week. We spent a whole hour on it, but still there's so much to say. You know, when we think of anxiety, we don't realize that anxiety is really a self-preserving system. It's like, you need me. If you don't have me, you'll die. And people who have chronic anxiety disorders really believe that. That without their anxiety, they would just keel over and die. And there's something really just sad about that. You know, people who suffer from anxiety become anxious with the thought of not being anxious. Because it's a state of being that you get so used to that it becomes just part of who you are. This constant lack of balance in your life becomes normal. And to see people in balance is to see them being almost lazy.
Right.
Because if you're not stressing, if you're not worried, if you're not anxious to the point of physical symptoms, then you're really not doing anything. In fact, I mean, I've had my dad get up in our faces because I remember once we said, you know what, we're just not going to worry about that. This was after we had, our daughter had been diagnosed and all that, and he's like, well, you guys need to worry about getting this and doing that, and here we are trying to deal with the fact that our daughter is going to be special. And we both said to him, it's like, we're not going to worry about that right now. We need to concentrate on doing what we can for our daughter, whatever. And by saying to him, we're not going to worry about that, it was kind of like telling him to go f himself. Because he just lost it. It was just this, oh my God, if you don't worry about it, how are you going to get anything done? It's like, well, you see, that's the thing. That's the funny part of anxiety. You start believing that if you don't worry about things, you can't get things done. When in reality is when you don't worry about them, that you get them done.
See, I will say that kind of a little twist to this is everybody has their own version of balance. We are built for homeostasis. We are built such that we're in some type of equilibrium. The question is, how do we maintain that balance? Because when we're talking about being under stress like that, then the worrying thing is, imagine being on a tightrope and you're hanging your butt way over there and like holding something the other way so that you stay up there. It's not a good, natural, comfortable balance.
No.
It's a tough one to maintain. Your arm's going to get tired after a while.
Or pulled out of the socket like it's happened to mine.
Yeah, that's right. But everybody has their type of balance. There was a reason I was saying this. It's probably horribly important.
Very much so.
Yes, but I don't really remember. Oh, so that whole idea of worry, that is the way he maintains his balance. That is, you can even tell by the way what he was saying. It's like, oh, you have to worry to get something done. He kind of has this process. It is his process. I have to acknowledge that. Because whenever we're talking about balance, the first thing you have to figure out is where you're at now. How are you balancing things now, and is it working for you? So that is it, his process. We acknowledge it. Beyond that, though, I think that there are easier ways to maintain the balance. That's kind of where I was going with that.
Right.
So.
But the thing is that it's also when you use self-deprecating ways of maintaining your balance. When you use ways that are not healthy to maintain your balance, like having a drink and things like that. Ultimately, it's like you want to use ways to maintain balance that are going to be progressive. Things that are going to move you forward, not things that are going to just keep you, like a scale.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so instead of using the scale for balance, use the bicycle metaphor for balance.
Right.
Use a wheel, the concept of a wheel as balance. Use the different aspects of your life as the spokes in the wheel for balance. That is truly the balance you seek, because that is a healthy balance.
Mm-hmm.
Being stuck is never healthy. Being in stasis is not healthy. Unless of course you're traveling in space and they want to wake you up in about 20 years. That's the only time that stasis is a good thing.
It's not healthy because it's really not natural. That's pretty much the bottom line on it. Everything changes. Everything in nature changes. It is a fact of life.
Right.
It is a physical science thing. If I put a drop of something in water and don't stir it, it's still going to move.
Right.
It's
almost like you want to create the perfect combination of egg and sperm consciousness.
Right.
You want to be ready, but you want to be moving forward.
Right.
You want to be still and yet active. You want to go for your goal and yet be comfortable where you are. It's really the yin and the yang. If we look at the Eastern philosophies, we look at these symbols as Westerners and we're like, oh, that's really cool and everything. And it means balance and everything. But if you look at the yin yang, a real yin yang, and then you have the black and the white, but you also have the circles in each. And the circles in each have the opposite color in each color. In other words, it's saying it's okay to almost blend the two. It's okay. You need to have both to be balanced. You need to have the feminine and the masculine energy to be balanced. If a man is too masculine, it's going to get him in trouble. He's going to end up getting into fights to protect that masculinity.
Playing alpha all the time.
Yeah, playing alpha all the time is going to get him hurt. If a woman is too feminine, she's going to invite rapists. And she's going to invite people who are going to abuse her. Because, and I'm not saying that, I'll be very clear, that I'm not saying that women, want to be abused. However, abusers seek out that energy. They seek out women who have shunned the masculine energy in them.
Right.
That assertiveness, that confidence, and too feminine means that you're going to lean too hard on your partner. So you want to maintain both. It's okay to be a woman and be very, very feminine, but at the same time, know what you want in life.
Right.
And be assertive. And be ballsy every now and then. And, so that's what we're talking about here. It's like, how do you have it all? Because that's, it's like having, from Jerry Maguire, the idea of the Quan, having everything. It's everything all in one. And it's really what balance is all about.
Having the Quan.
Yeah. It's like when we go, everybody has the same dreams. When you look at it very basically, we all want to be loved. We all want to have money. We all want to have family. We all want to have friends. There's nothing special in these dreams and desires.
That's what I like about Maslow's hierarchy. It's all, that's what everybody wants.
Yeah, that's what everybody wants.
Right.
However, what happens is that we put modifiers on it. If we say things like, oh, I want to have a lot of money, once you start putting that on it, that's putting that stressor on it.
Right.
Saying that it's not going to be okay to just be comfortable. Wow, I'm just messing up. Okay, how the hell am I?
I think you're doing things.
Wow. How the?
I think you're going backwards, aren't you?
Am I? Seriously?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, you go this way. That's why you have that.
It's
You're
this
doing
way?
the camera
Yes.
thing. That's right, you're doing the backwards camera thing. You don't do that well.
No, I don't. That's why I need you. Thank you, honey. So, it's, yeah, how do I, if once you add the modifier of, I want to have, for women, and I'm going to speak to the ladies for a moment. When you say things like, I want to have a husband, you've bypassed relationship altogether. You bypassed friendship, relationship, hello, hopeful girl. You bypassed everything when you start putting the modifier of, I want to have a husband. Or I want to have a rich husband who's a doctor.
Yeah.
How about having a relationship? How about having a healthy relationship? You've gone beyond, those modifiers put a stress on let's say your aura, your energy, and it changes you. It takes you out of balance.
Yeah, that's why I said the thing about we need to start by figuring out what our balance is, because one of the things in my experience that people just don't get is what their actual goal is. Their definition. I want to have a husband. What does that look like? Again, there's you left out the relationship part. You didn't. I want to have a lot of money. How much is a lot of money? Compared to what? Since people have a lot of problems doing that whole, making the definition and establishing the goal, then it makes it very hard to be in balance, to find your balance, even know what balance is, because kind of goes back to the sperm and egg stuff. Lee was just talking about, is one of the things that both of them have in common is that a healthy sperm and a healthy egg know their goal. The thing that makes a sperm really healthy is knowing where they're going and what it's going to look like once they get there. The thing that makes an egg, be nice and healthy, is knowing what they're waiting for
and being prepared.
And being prepared for it. And knowing when it happened.
Right.
If not, then you just sit there and keep waiting and waiting and waiting, and it could have happened, who knows.
Right.
That's balance. It is that definition and knowing what it is that you're looking for that is truly the balance.
And that's really one of the biggest problems that people have with balance, is that most people don't know what they want. They say things like, I want a lot of money. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Because my kids, I tell them, oh, that's a lot of money. And, I give them 25 cents, or I give them the shiny money and I take away their paper money. And they're like, wow, that's a lot of money. These kids don't know anything.
Right.
Of course,
10 pennies is a lot
more than $1.
Right,
$1.
Jeez. Useless.
We need to be very specific, and if you've ever watched things like The Secret or What the Bleep, it's really being very clear. I mean, The Secret, I'll tell you what it is without having to spend a whole lot of money. It's being clear on what you want, saying what you want, and letting the universe take care of it. Because of the fact that we are so vague in our desires, we create a very vague life. We say things like, God, I really want a job. And then you get all these wonderful jobs at 7-Eleven. And you're like, well, I don't want that. Well, you just said you wanted a job. That is a job. Oh, I'm sorry, you want a specific job. Well, then be specific in what you want.
If you ever watch the interviews of successful people,
they're very specific.
They're always specific. They always have I knew when I was 4 that I wanted to be a blah, whatever it is.
And most of us don't have that kind of stuff because society, our parents, our teachers really tell us to vague it up a little bit. You know, they kind of take away our specificity as we're growing older. Like, you know,
play the field.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I mean, and really, and that is something that they tell you. You know that. Oh well, you know, go to college, sow your wild oats.
Mama said you better shop around.
Yeah, Mama says you better shop around. It's like all of these things, all of these messages that we get from society really are there to mess us up, to make us lose our balance. Because society as a whole, specifically in the Western world, wants you to be out of balance. To be out of balance is to need doctor care, you know, need medical care. Being out of balance is to be like everybody else. And for those of us who are a little bit awake, you know, like for those of us who are a little bit unplugged out of the matrix and stuff, we don't want to be like everybody else. I don't want to be, you know, if I wanted to be like everybody else, I'd be divorced.
Right. It'd be your second husband.
You know, Paul would be my second husband. I would have had several lovers in my lifetime.
You see, I'm the good husband, so I have to be at least the second one.
Yeah. That's normal. You know, I mean, people are actually getting married with the idea that this is just a starter relationship. Mm-hmm. That, yeah, if it doesn't go well, you know, maybe the next one will.
They're marrying their first spouse.
Yeah. You know, it's the... So... This is the cynicism of the society. Being cynical is something we aspire to, you know? And how unbalanced is that? How sick is that? Now, I'm a cynic. I tend to be very cynical. As I get older, instead of becoming more cynical, I become more optimistic, because becoming more cynical is really sad and is really depressing, and I don't want to be like that.
And I've got to admit that as I'm getting older, I'm actually seeing more hopeful things in the world. At the same time, I'm also seeing some major idiots. But
yeah, it's kind of...
We need to tell a little story of everything that happened at the graduation. It has nothing to do with balance, but it was just wrong. Let's see, graduation. We're standing in line, 8 million people, and somebody just kind of walked up and kind of got in front of us. Now,
No. She was actually kind of hovering, because there was a line to get in, and all the parents and family had tickets. And this woman was kind of hovering next to us. And my sister was with us. My sister actually is an employee of Miami-Dade County Public Schools. Well, as of today, this is her last day. Ooh. So, you know.
We have to congratulate
her.
Yeah.
Because she's retiring, and we're very happy about that, because this is her seeking balance. Mm-hmm. And so she's walking in with her little, you know, tag, but here's this woman kind of hovering with us. And my sister, well, she'd been doing it for a while, and my sister kind of does one of those, listen, whatever you do, you're not getting in front of us. You know, you can get behind me, but you're not getting in front of me. And I, of course, just smile real big, because I'm just so happy that she would actually assert herself like that. And the woman's like, oh, what? I was already in line. You know, I was already in line. And my sister's like, no, we were in line, and I don't even know where you were. She goes, well, I was under a tree in the shade, because I didn't want to be in the sun. And then my sister goes, well, then obviously you weren't in line.
Right.
So you get behind. And we're going up these steps to get into Bank United at the University of Miami. That's where they held the graduation. And we're getting up there, and this woman is like trying to get in. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm like, you know, putting away my ring, because this is going to get ugly. Yeah. And I know my sister, she might talk a good game, but she ain't going to fight. Yeah.
But
that's what my job is.
She might butt bounce this woman.
She might butt bounce her, but that's about it. And the woman's like, well, you know what? Let's just have this is a good day, so let's have a pleasant day. And my sister's like, yeah, let's have a pleasant day. You get behind me, and it's going to be pleasant. Uh-huh. She was not letting her in. And we had enough time for my sister to go into a diatribe of being self-entitled. You know, and my sister...
This was not a fast-moving line.
This was not a fast-moving line. So she's like, you know, she goes, you know what irks me here is your self-entitlement. She goes, who the hell do you think you are to think that you could just get in front of me? You know? And And that's really, that's such a beautiful, I don't know, I mean, I just found that to be such an important line, really, in the idea, the concept of being balanced. Because being balanced, the number one thing that you have to be balanced is to make yourself the priority. When you make yourself the priority, balance follows.
Mm-hmm.
There's no question about that. There's just, it's, you know, it's as simple as saying, you know, when you wash yourself, you get clean. You know, it's like, yeah, if you're the priority.
Between priority and
self-entitlement, yeah. If you're saying that I matter, then balance follows you. If you're saying that I'm more important than you, that's self-entitlement. That's the difference. And that's not balance. Because in your whole life, you're going to be fighting to be more important than me.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? I mean, that's where what you've done is really just throw down a gauntlet. Like, okay, now it's time to throw down.
Yeah.
If you're saying, I matter, you don't let people take advantage of you. Not from a point of, hey, don't take advantage of me. It's that I deserve better.
Mm-hmm.
It's always a positive statement that you create for yourself, because it just flows naturally from, I am my priority. I am my priority is self-affirming, you know, self-realized. Because when you say I am my priority, everything you do creates that vision for yourself. Everything that you do creates that reality for you. And balance naturally follows it. You know, and it's not the idea of being selfish, because that's one of the things as us Westerners, we don't like that. We don't like the idea that, that somebody might consider us selfish.
Mm-hmm.
And to put yourself first, well, that's just selfish. That's pure selfishness. And anybody who thinks that they're first, you need to put everybody before you, because being a martyr is a better way of living. That's that Western Christian mentality that they want to pound into us, because that's what makes us better citizens. And reality is, the people who consider themselves as their priority are more giving than the self-elevating martyrs of the Western thinking people. You know, I give this much. Well, you know, honey, that's you being selfish. Someone who puts themselves first they do it as a selfless act. It has nothing to do with them. If I'm giving, it's because I want to give. It has nothing to do with me. I am out of that equation, because you see, I am my priority. When I give of myself, or when I give of my things, it has nothing to do with me. It has to do with the other person. Because I don't need the benefit of that. I'm doing it because I want to.
Yeah. See, being your own priority, you know, being the priority is kind of a double-edged sword, because when you're your own when you are centered like that, then you're doing things to make everything about you better, which means making the world better, making everything around you better. Mm-hmm. It is all about making everything in your purview, your domain, the best that it can be.
Right.
You know.
Because you deserve that.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, but you're not part of that equation.
Yeah.
This is something that you just do naturally.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like, you know, moving into a home and never furnishing it. You know, that if you are your priority, you're going to furnish it to make yourself comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you might go outside and make a pretty garden because you want to have a pretty garden. Well, let's say that garden makes other people happy.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. That's fantastic.
Right. You want that.
You want everything's the way it should be. You know, it's like, if I give, you know, if you even look at it biblically, you know, the idea of, I did it again, didn't I?
Yep.
Shit.
This way.
It's this way. if you look at the Bible story of the woman and the man in the temple, and the woman who gave like one piece of silver and that's all that she had, and the man who gave like a bag and he was rich, that her giving was more important than his giving. Because we look at it as like, she gave all that she could and he gave just some. If we look at it differently, if we look at that, in terms of balance, she's not giving from the part of, look at me give. Because it's like, we talk in the Bible, it talks about, when you give, don't let your right hand know what your left hand is doing. Because it's really not about, that, because when you give, you're not supposed to be getting anything back, supposedly.
So how do you consciously put yourself as a priority when your default is to be a martyr?
Exactly. Because what we need to do is explore that victim mentality. Everything that we do in the society is to perpetuate the victim mentality. I mean, everything we do is about that. When you stop blaming the world for your situation, when you stop blaming society for who you are, when you start taking responsibility for everything that you create in your life, the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, then you start getting out of that victim mentality, that martyr consciousness.
Right. Having a concept. I'm not saying knowing exactly, but having a concept of what that higher person that you are, what that is, and then shooting for that. Puts you into your self priority, out of the martyr, out of the look at me.
Right. Here's one of the things that we learned a long time ago, like 20 years ago. Literally 20 years ago we learned.
What is this? I probably don't remember.
When you look at yourself and hold yourself as your highest possibility. When you look at yourself in your mind's eye, how do you see yourself? When you look at the people around you, one of the things that after I learned that was one of the things I would talk about in therapy with couples, is that when you look at your spouse, when you look at your family, your kids, do you hold them as their highest possibility, or do you constantly condemn them for who they've been? If your husband cheated on you, for example, and you chose, notice how I'm saying that, you chose to stay with him after the fact, then you need to hold him as a loyal, loving spouse in your mind.
The thing that you chose.
The thing that you chose. Because the reason why you chose is that you saw him as something greater than he was behaving. So you could see him as being the ideal husband for you. And if you hold yourself that way, if you could see yourself as a beautiful, loving, powerful, responsible, magnetic, charismatic, prosperous person, then that's who you become. Because that's the only way. It's like, once you see it like that, then everything else, every other little adjective that might describe you, falls away.
And a little side note, this is one of those situations where there is no middle ground.
Right.
There is no neutral on this. There is no, I don't even think about that. You either see yourself as your lowest or your highest.
Or your highest, yeah.
There is no in between.
I mean, I could say that, I could see myself as a fat bitch, and that could either be negative or positive.
Right.
I choose to see it as positive. I choose to see that as sassy. I choose to see that as sexy. I don't see it as, something nasty, something. I see that as, like powerful. And it's really how you choose to see it in your mind. I am responsible for who I become. I am responsible for who I will become. And when you have that kind of power, when you decide forevermore, I am not the victim of anything, that martyr stuff becomes almost an anathema. It just makes you feel sick to think that anybody would think of you like that.
Mm-hmm.
We've had things happen to us, at us in our lives, and just a few years ago, we were kicked out of the Catholic Church. All sorts of nasty things happened to us, and we could have very easily slipped into this nasty martyr kind of, but we didn't. We saw it as, even when we got kicked out, we were walking to the car, and we couldn't even speak. We were just so in shock from what happened. And as I was putting Paul in the car, he had hurt his back. So,
right.
I was putting him in. There was some putting in, almost like carrying him in. Putting him in the car, and I looked at him and I go, "So I guess you're a Buddhist now?"
Yep.
And he started laughing and he goes, "Yep." It's like, I don't have time for this. I don't have time to sit around and wallow in the, God, this is really shitty what they did to me.
Actually, even more so, there's a certain responsibility.
Yeah.
Because I asked God for a message.
Yeah.
God gave me the answer. Come on.
Yeah, seriously.
Why would I be pissed about that?
Yeah.
Moses.
It is,
got this kind of stuff.
We did spend a little bit of time going, God, how can people be so cruel?
Oh, sure.
Because it is saddening.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other side of that is, what an opportunity.
Yeah.
What a great opportunity to show people really what we're made of. We could have gotten nasty. We could have been mean and done things and said things, and, with the platform that we have right now,
oh, yeah.
we could destroy people.
Oh, yeah.
We could.
We could have used names.
We could have used names and all that.
Yeah.
We've never done it. And we never will.
No.
Because, honestly, they are in their martyr.
Mm-hmm.
They are in their victim thing. They thought that we were the bad guys. You know what? Go ahead.
Yeah.
God bless you. I send you love and light.
And
that's
again,
it.
my priority is that I am the best me that I can be, and there is no weakness in taking the high road on this one.
And not only that, because of this, we are better me's since then.
Yeah. It really worked out quite well for us.
Yeah. We liked it. Thank you very much. We appreciate your nastiness.
We get to do this.
And so few people do that. So few people take these like nasty things that happen to them and make them into the happy things. Because we think that our victim story is us.
Right.
We think that that the horrible things that happen in life, and we're talking really horrible things, from death to, from being told that your daughter's blind and deaf and all that stuff. We think that all those things, those are your stopping points. And then you get to tell the story. No, the story is being able to say, yeah, we were told that, and this guy right here said, I don't care. and I say it like that because when I heard, because I got, I spoke to them on the phone when we got the results and stuff. When I got the results, I was just so shocked that, it was almost like somebody shoved something in my heart. And I remember, it was like yesterday. I remember getting in the elevator of our apartment, and Paul was carrying Jeannie in the little carrier and whatever. And I'm like, but honey, they said this and this and this and this. And he just said, I don't care. So what?
Let's call it divinely inspired denial.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly what it was. But you know what? There's a certain amount of denial that you need to have to move on.
Yeah. When
and then afterwards you can figure it out.
Yeah.
But, in the beginning you have to do the whole, you know what? I can't let this stop me.
Right.
Because I don't have that luxury. Specifically when we're told things like, oh, this is wrong with your kid. And I speak to the parents out there who have had this happen to them. And parents out there who have made their whole life this story of, oh, poor me. I mean, hell, they created a whole psychological diagnosis, Munchausen by proxy, for parents who love hearing that their kids are sick. Because they love the attention of being a victim. They love the attention of being a martyr. Like Munchausen by proxy, there are a slew of different kinds of victim stories that we can live with.
And I have to say, kind of looking at this in hindsight now, I wasn't, when I was doing my denial,